Yes, and they are doing this mostly through subconscious. I was learning in neuro-linguistic programming that our conscious is using 7 to 9 beats per second, and subconscious at the same time doing this with 300 beats per second. You made one part of your documentary and explain about subconscious. Let's see one short clip.
The subconscious is sort of like our cruise control default programming, which is all stored in our nervous system. The subconscious also heals our cuts, digests our food, makes sure our heart beats, and blinks our eyes. All these functions help us navigate the world in a safer and more secure manner, as opposed to us trying to think about all those functions consciously. Imagine if you had to tell your heart to pump 70 times per minute, and if you didn't, it wouldn't pump your blood. To guarantee our survival, it's just best that some things are done outside our control by our own nervous systems. Our food digests and our cuts heal without our involvement. I want you to know that your behavior, for the most part, falls in that exact same category. This is hard for the average person to understand, but that's exactly what gives the mind control experts who rule us the upper hand. The facts are simple. Your behavior is mostly subconscious, outside your conscious control. It's the environment that leads our behaviors and leads the ideas we hold as fact. What we do in a day or even over our entire lifetime isn't a byproduct of deep logical analysis of all our potential life choices. We literally react and do whatever our environment tells us to in regards to what repetitive content our environment displays for us to interact with. As this occurs, most people are taught to believe that all their decisions are organic to them. The reason this film is called Planet Mind Control is because our environments are being carefully handcrafted and socially engineered by people behind the green curtain at Oz. What we're being exposed to in our environment is purposely designed so we continually fail and execute nothing but perpetual disaster. Let me show you a couple choice examples of how the ruling group is using this simple technology to keep you in a constant state of crisis, failure, disease, self-doubt, depression, and dysfunction.
They are influenced in our subconscious, and it's not that hard. You show some examples how they do it.
The thing about our subconscious is that actually loves us, so it's not a malfunction. There are parts of our metabolic systems that we can't control because we're too busy with other things. So our heart beating, digestion, woman's menstrual cycle, hair growing, you don't control those. And we don't control all our behavior either. The brain, the subconscious, takes care of some of our beliefs and our ideas by counting the repetitive content in the environment. Now, once the subconscious has counted the repetitive content or environment, whatever is most repetitive, the subconscious believes it represents the bigger herd, what the bigger herd is saying, thinking, or doing. It not only counts it on our behalf, it forces us to act it out. So a mind controller in government, and there was many of these nudge units all around the Western world during COVID, and their job was to control the repetitive content, which literally means controlling the subconscious ideas and beliefs of the public through this pathway of, behavior. It sets human behavior, but the humans don't know they have it. They think they invent their behavior organically. So he who controls the most repetitive content is the one that controls the beliefs and perceptions of the public. So the reason we believe viruses cause disease, the reason we believe poison is medicine, the reason we believe we should pee and poo into our own water supply and then fake clean it with dangerous chemicals. The only reason we believe any of this stuff that makes no sense is because it was repetitively driven into us by school, National Geographic, Sesame Street, our kids' shows, our mom and dad. So the repetitive content doesn't have to be make sense. It just has to be repetitive, and then we adopt it. At least 40% or 30% of the population will adopt any repetitive idea. Regardless, it could even kill them, and they're going to follow right into the sacrificial volcano. It's just the way we're designed, unfortunately.
Yes, I saw one very interesting short dialogue with Peter Hotez. Peter Hotez, the one of the chief for vaccines in the United States. And he was talking to a lady. She said, look, I took vaccines 3 times. I even took 1 booster. But anyhow, I get COVID. And after that, this COVID was very dangerous. I suffer hard. And she asked him what to do. And then he asked again, did you took a 2nd booster? She said, no. That is the reason. You didn't took 2nd booster. That means he repeats again. She said to him, to everybody, that even after 3 shots, again, she was sick. And answer was, take another shot. That is this kind of repetitiveness what you are talking about.
Yeah, and there's sort of small repetitive psychological operations and bigger ones. To be honest with you, some of the overarching, most repetitive themes is that you need to turn away from God and turn towards science. So whether we're eating food with poison on it, or we're going to health professionals who give us poison that never make us better, and then we don't pray anymore, we don't ask for guidance, we're always asking them for guidance, we're sending our kids to places that aren't really safe for them. Each aspect of our biggest problems, one of the biggest repetitive themes is that we've turned away from God as our primary source of guidance. And that's a huge repetitive theme that most people won't see. Most people today don't believe in God because most of the movies make fun of God and have done so for 50 years. So it's no surprise that most people aren't really God-fearing Christians at this point.
Well, that just remind me when at that time, Minister of Health, he was very angry in one moment when we gathered together. You see behind my back a big crowd. That was then when we gathered together and say no to COVID passport. And then he was very angry. And I remember on television, he said, why nobody trusts our scientists? Why nobody wants to trust our science? And that's what you're talking about. They turned science in God, and they want us to trust the science. And as I know, I'm an amateur, but I know that you need to doubt to science and to check it out. And that is the science, not trust. If you trust in something, if you believe in something, that is God. And that's how they reverse it. They move away God and put the science as a new God.
Yeah, and it's a big pattern that people should start being aware of. It's one of the biggest mind control patterns because we come equipped not only with an immune system, but we come equipped with a lie detector. We know when people are lying, but a lot of the people will ignore those systems that were given to us by whatever you want to name your creator. That's fine. But you have those systems of lie detection inside of you, and they're always trying to intrude and take the place of all the natural equipment and natural systems that we were given. And I mean, we even have Yuval Noah Harari of the World Economic Forum saying that now there's no more God in the sky, there's information in the cloud, and that people like him are going to take the places of gods on this planet, which is a very ancient prophecy that always fails, but it ends up taking humanity down the drain with it. So we all have to be very careful of the repetitive nature of our reality, where you have very weak males trying to usurp the power from the people. Well,
he's coming to visit Zagreb in November this year. and I'm planning to invite him in my show to ask him a few questions personal. We will see if I succeed. I have doubts, because when he see my guests like yourself, for sure he will have a double thinking if he accept my invitation. But let's go further.